Somewhere over 1 million years ago, an ancestor of yours did something no other animal on Earth has ever done, before or since. They took food that could barely keep a body alive, held it over fire, and by doing that one simple act, rewired what a human brain was even capable of becoming. They started cooking, and nothing about being human was ever the same again. So let's start at the beginning, not with a recipe, but with a mouth. Your mouth, specifically, and everything it can't do. Compare your teeth and jaw to those of a chimpanzee, your closest living relative. Chimps have massive jaw muscles, huge molars, and guts nearly twice the relative size of yours, because raw food, tough plants, unprocessed meat, fibrous roots, requires enormous amounts of chewing and even more digestion just to extract a fraction of its calories. Chimpanzees spend nearly half of their waking hours chewing, just chewing. Your jaw is smaller. Your teeth are smaller. Your gut is dramatically smaller, and yet you survive, easily, eating a fraction of the chewing time. Here's what should unsettle you. That difference isn't random anatomy. It's the physical record, carved directly into your skull, of a decision your ancestors made roughly 1 million years ago that fundamentally rewired the entire human body. Anthropologists studying human evolution point to something called the cooking hypothesis, the idea that applying heat to food didn't just make meals taste better, it made an entirely new kind of human possible. Here's the mechanism, and it's stranger than people expect. Cooking doesn't add calories to food. It unlocks calories that were already there, but chemically or physically inaccessible. Heat breaks down tough plant cell walls, unwinds proteins, and gelatinizes starches, turning food that your gut would have to work brutally hard to extract energy from into something your body can digest almost effortlessly. Studies comparing raw and cooked food show that humans can extract significantly more usable calories from cooked starches and proteins than from the exact same food eaten raw. Think about what that means practically. The exact same piece of meat, the exact same root vegetable, suddenly delivers more usable energy for less digestive effort, purely because it passed through fire first. And this is where everything changes. Because if your body was suddenly getting more energy for less digestive cost, evolution had a decision to make. What do you do with the surplus? The human brain is metabolically ravenous. It makes up roughly 2% of your body weight, but consumes around 20% of your total daily energy, even while you're doing nothing but sitting still. No other organ demands anything close to that. And here's the timeline that should genuinely surprise you. Fossil evidence shows a dramatic increase in human brain size beginning around the time cooking is believed to have become common, roughly 1.8 million years ago with Homo erectus. Brain size nearly doubled over the following period, a growth rate that would have been metabolically impossible to sustain on a diet of raw, unprocessed food alone. Here's the terrifying part hiding underneath that fact. A raw food diet, by itself, according to researchers who've modeled the numbers, likely couldn't have supplied enough consistent, digestible energy to fuel a brain that large. Which means, quite literally, without cooking, the modern human brain, the exact one generating the thought you're having right now, may never have been able to evolve in the first place. You are not just a species that learned to cook. You may be a species that exists in the form you currently take, because cooking happened first. But there's a darker thread woven into this story. Because cooking didn't just fuel bigger brains, it rearranged the entire structure of ancient life around fire itself. Controlling fire required something no other primate behavior demanded: sustained cooperation and deferred reward. You couldn't cook alone, easily, safely, or efficiently. Someone had to gather fuel. Someone had to tend the flame, sometimes for hours, protecting it from wind and rain. Someone had to prepare the food. Anthropologists studying the emergence of cooking suggest this shared labor may have been one of the earliest deep drivers of complex social cooperation, family structures, and even the sexual division of labor still echoed in human societies today. And here's what's strange. Fire itself became something to defend. Evidence from ancient hearths, some found in caves in South Africa, dated to roughly 1 million years old, show fire being used repeatedly, in the same location, over extended periods. That's not an accidental spark catching dry grass. That's a maintained relationship with a dangerous, powerful force, protected and passed down, night after night, for generations. Cooking also solved a problem that had nothing to do with calories at all: safety. Heat kills pathogens and parasites that raw meat and certain plants can carry. Pathogens that, left unchecked, would have quietly devastated small ancient populations through illness alone. Every time an early human cooked meat instead of eating it raw, they weren't just making it easier to digest. They were, without any concept of germs or bacteria, protecting themselves from threats they couldn't see, based purely on inherited behavior that happened to work. And this is where the story becomes almost unsettling in a different way, because cooking changed something even deeper than biology. It changed the shape of the human day itself. Raw food eaten in the wild is consumed in scattered, near-constant grazing, the way chimpanzees eat throughout nearly their entire waking day. Cooking required time, preparation, and a fire to gather around. Which means the very concept of a meal, a shared, structured moment, where a group stops, sits, and eats together, may trace its origins directly back to the practical demands of cooking itself. Every dinner table in human history might be a distant descendant of a fire someone was too afraid to leave unattended 1,000,000 years ago. So here's the full picture. Cooking didn't begin as convenience, or flavor, or culture. It began as a brutal evolutionary trade: less chewing, less digestion, more usable energy, in exchange for cooperation, vigilance, and risk. That trade rewired human anatomy, shrinking our guts and jaws. It very possibly made the modern human brain metabolically possible in the first place. It forced early humans into deeper cooperation just to keep a single flame alive through the night. And it may have quietly invented the very idea of sitting down together to eat. Tonight, when you eat something warm, something cooked, without a single thought about where that habit came from, you are repeating an act that may be directly responsible for the fact that you have a brain capable of wondering about it at all. Your ancestors didn't know they were building you. They just knew that fire made the food easier to survive on. And somewhere in that decision, an entirely new kind of mind was quietly switched on. If something as ordinary as dinner turns out to be the reason your brain exists at all, imagine what else in your daily life has a hidden evolutionary story. That's what Yedd is for. Like this video and subscribe.